Welcome to Biz Help for You with host Candy Messer. Entrepreneurs like to focus on the big picture, like profitability, success, and a smooth running organization. But there always seems to be those little things like taxes, employee compensation, laws, regulations, and more. Now you can get the answers you need in one place. Join us today as we break it all down for you. Now, here's your host, Candy Messer.
Hello and welcome to Biz Help for You with Candy Messer. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my last interview, and if you missed the episode and would like to listen to the show, links can be found on my YouTube and Facebook pages, as well as multiple favorite podcast platforms. And if you'd like to receive notifications on when my podcasts have been uploaded, please like and subscribe. Now let's learn a little bit about my guest today. Jake is a successful serial entrepreneur who has excelled in ventures ranging from software, investments, to fashion. After a ski accident left him with a facial scar, he saw an opportunity to create a line of skincare products specifically designed for men. Unsatisfied with existing solutions, he launched Crete, a brand focused on performance and simplicity, with every product taking less than 30 seconds to use. Jake's dedication to Crete's success led him to immerse himself in all aspects of e-commerce skincare, from product development to digital marketing, which resonated with male customers and made Crete profitable in no time. So Jake, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be an interesting topic. I haven't ever interviewed anyone who's actually created products just for like the male industry, especially like in what's a cosmetic line, theoretically. But before we get into any questions I have for you on your process and how you made your way through all of that, I'd love for you just to tell me a little bit more about your story and how did you found Crete?
So it was in 2017 on January 2nd. I was in Colorado. I was skiing, and I've been skiing my whole life. So, you kind of take for granted maybe some safety things here and there. And I was going down a blue, nothing hard. I was just going probably faster than, you should. But after 24 years of skiing at that point, no injuries, you kind of just fly down the mountain. So my ski hit some ice, which is bizarre because it was in the middle of the run, and it came and it hit me in the face, unfortunately, and gave me a nice scar on my nose. And so for that, I was like a CVS, just grab a moisturizer, wash my face with a bar of soap, regular guy. I mean, most guys are like that. They don't really know. They would never go into a Sephora or anything like that. They'd never really do the research because what they do is good enough, and good enough usually suffices. But I'm having a scar, and scars heal differently. It's right in my face. You can't hide it. I had to wear something like this to cover it for a year from the sun. So basically I was like, okay, I don't want to ever wear that thing again. I need to figure out good products that actually work. And so that kind of forced me to start looking at the chemistry of things, start looking at the brands I was buying from, and which were just marketing and which were actually quality. And then the actual experience I had to go through, where I walked into a Sephora and an Ulta and was like, this is not for me. It's too feminine. There's a million products here, and I'm looking for one or two. And so nothing about that from A to Z was made for someone like me, just a regular guy who wanted a skincare solution and better skin, and specifically in my case, concealer and a hyaluronic acid serum.
Well, I think that's where the story's a little bit different too, because most guys don't even think about doing stuff for their face, right? They're not thinking of, I got to get a moisturizer, I have to get a cleanser, I have to get these different things. And someone to even talk about hyaluronic acid, I don't even know how to say it properly, right? But you do. That's not something that generally they're thinking of. So again, that's why there wasn't really that much out on the market, because that wasn't really something that people normally would be looking for, right?
Yeah, I saw that there were a couple of products that were universal, and once you knew what they did, they'd be obvious, and most people should use them. A hyaluronic acid serum, concealer. Like, guys don't use concealer, but they do occasionally. Maybe their first experience is prom, they had a pimple or something, and their mom gave it to them, or a girlfriend at some time gave it to them for dark circles. But once they use it, they have to like kind of steal their girlfriend's stuff, and like there's a huge an underground understanding with guys that like that's okay. But like
Mhm.
if you're going to use the product, why not buy it from a brand that ships it to you, that makes the best formulas, that understands and speaks to you about like, hey, it takes only 30 seconds. No one's going to know you wear it. Understands what makes you embarrassed about it and kind of defeats those issues before you even have a chance to get worried about them.
Mhm. Well, in today's topic, we're going to be really talking about digital marketing and all that goes into that to really have a successful company or, the product that you're selling. So I would love for you just to talk about like a couple of the things that you had to learn from the beginning. So if someone is in the same spot as you and they're wanting to start marketing online, but they're not sure where to start, like what are some of the things that you faced that you had to learn?
Yeah, so my biggest lesson is that it's all a numbers formula and you have to break it down into sections. And so one of the sections is acquisition, one of them is retargeting, one of them is getting people to repurchase. So for me, I was so product focused at the beginning. I wanted to make a product that worked so well that you would order it
Mhm.
again without us having to remind you. To me, that's marketing. It's not the first stage. But it means if we spend all this money, make all these ads, get it to you, ship it to you, have it in your hand, you're gonna pay off whatever we spent to acquire you. So that's the first thing
Mhm.
is have a product that's worthy of reordering and worthy of reordering somewhat frequently, if possible. That's why I don't think mattress companies are that great of a business. How often do you order a mattress? But with skincare,
Right.
something like this, it's once or a month or every other month. And then if you have multiple products, it's multiple times. Even a t-shirt or a sweatshirt,
Mhm.
you're not using it up in a month. But a
Mhm.
consumable good is really good, or a lot of software like Netflix subscription models. There's something that it makes sense to have recurring revenue. So that's what I say first is make sure the product and the business model works well, because then that gives you more money to spend up front to acquire customers. Because if,
Mhm.
if you need to break even on the first sale, it makes business a lot harder. If you can know you get a
Right.
customer and they give you a second, third, and fourth sale, not easily, but much more easily, well, you can spend more on the first. And so
Mhm.
then when it comes to kind of the funnel, there's two big funnels we have. There's Amazon and then there's our Shopify store. Those are the two main things. And so the Shopify store gets fed in from Google traffic, Facebook and Instagram traffic. We don't do influencer marketing yet because it's just too annoying to coordinate 50 creators, whereas Google ads and Amazon, Google ads don't require any creativity as far as video. It's a
Mhm.
couple lines, keywords. The creativity comes in the keywords and the strategy, but the people I hired have to do that. So there's also that consideration when it comes to the funnel is the level of effort and time and team and money that you're going to have to spend to actually make the content you're even going to run as an ad. So, people think of
Mhm.
an acquisition cost, but they don't necessarily think of the operational costs as a
Right.
part of that. They might say, okay, I spent $1 and I made $1. It's like, yeah, but you also paid 3 guys to make content for you, another guy to edit it, took 3 weeks, you know, those are
Mhm.
costs. So, that's
Right.
one cost I see people overlooking. Whereas Google, it's like, okay, they did a keyword search for an hour. This week we'll try these keywords and they write a sentence and there's your ad. Same with Amazon.
Mhm.
Amazon is a reposting almost of the listing. So there's like no,
Mhm.
it's not easy, but it's
Right.
certainly easier from a content perspective. So I know I just said a whole lot, but yeah, that's kind of how I break it up is how hard is it to get the content? How hard is it to run it? Are they going through our Shopify or Amazon store? And then do our products actually get reordered? And the answer for us is yes. And so that means
Right.
if our acquisition cost fluctuates a little on the front, because depending on the week or something, it's not going to make or break us because we know that no matter what it is, the fluctuation is still within a range that after 30 to 60 days, we are like looking really good.
Mhm. Well, one of the things that you mentioned is something that I try to tell people too when they're going to be launching a business or maybe, a new product or something too, is really looking at all of the costs. Don't just look at it's going to cost me this much to buy it
Yeah.
and then hopefully I sell it for this much and the profit is this. Because like you said, there's overhead, there's all kinds of things that go into
Mhm.
that. And that's why so many businesses fail because they don't plan appropriately for what it's really going
Yeah.
to cost.
People need to go through and do like an exercise. I'm saying if you've run a business, you know this, but if you're thinking about starting it, okay, go get a prototype. And if it's, let's say it's physical good, let's say you're making this, because this is right here and it's an easy example. Go make the first version of this. What it takes is the raw materials, the formulator and filler, running tests on it to make sure it's safe to sell, the labels, labeling it, someone assembling the pump, the box it comes in with embossing, someone to assemble those, safety seals, and that's just you have the product. Also the design of all of those things at every level. And that is just you have it. That's not fulfillment, that's not shipping, that's not insurance. Like, people need to kind of do the exercise of, okay, I want to make this product. What are the actual A to Z steps to making it? And you don't have to go order these things. Just like put it on paper and realize like, okay, I need a label design. Well, go find someone on Upwork who's pretty cheap and work with them for a few hours and realize, no, it's not the easiest to make a label. Okay, well, that's one of the 50 steps. Now, if it was easy, more people would be doing it. And that's where the opportunity is. The fact that it's not easy, which can oftentimes lead to the higher risk, higher reward formula of being an entrepreneur. You know,
Right.
you could do a lot of work and it could be nothing. You could do a lot of work and benefit and change your life in a way that no 9-to-5 could ever do. So yeah, but that's it. It's like the cost of goods sold. Okay, well, do people consider the freight of getting it from the factory to our fulfillment center? Because that's not cheap, especially as gas prices go up there. That's more expensive. I fold that into the cost of goods sold and I overestimate that. And these things add up. So yeah, there's always more cost. The lawyer to do your operating agreement, to file your trademarks, are those being considered as operational expenses? So for us, it's like a ROAS of like 1.8 within 30 days, breaks even on everything, something like that. It's like 1.78. So I usually try to go for a 2 minimum, just to make sure we're actually covering everything.
Right. Exactly. So when you were looking at creating this product and, making sure you have someone who wanted to buy again, right? You said you need to have a product that people are going to want to buy. Like, how did you figure out what their preferences were going to be and who your target market really would be? I mean, obviously you said men, but sometimes that's too general, right? So how did you figure that out?
Yeah, it's not even just men. It's people who like results without the BS. That's really it. And that is, I would say, 75 to 80% of men and 25% of women. Because for some women, they like to go to Sephora because it's like, it's a sport to them. It's fun. It's an activity. It's going an adventure to see new products. They saw something trending on TikTok or something, some new snail mucin or some weird product and they want to test it. Or an influencer they like recommended stuff. And they try a bunch of different makeups and a bunch of different skincare products all the time. And so for them, it's fun. It's like fantasy football for me, It's like, it's fun. It's not necessarily like, it's just an enjoyable shopping experience, a little retail therapy. For many guys, there are a number of issues between skincare and them actually using it. And one of the things is that specific retail experience. So that was one of the first things that I just thought, well, to me at least, it's pretty obvious that if someone just told me, hey, here's concealer, here's what it does, and we'll ship it to you, I would have been like, that's perfect, thank you. But no one ever communicated that way to me. In fact, all the companies that said concealer for guys were basically saying guys should embrace their feminine side. And I said, that's not going to happen for most guys. Like, you just can't change people's behavior like that. I just wanted something simple. So that was the kind of guiding principle of Creed. It was, why don't we just make products that are higher quality than the filler ingredients and harmful but cheap preservative bases that you find in most like CVS products? And then why don't we market it in a way that just would appeal to someone like me, who is a kind of a no nonsense when it comes to buying stuff. I vet everything. So if there was a brand that showed me they already vetted everything and I wouldn't have to, that'd be great. So I tried to make Creed just like that. So even our female customers appreciate it because they go, oh, wait, this is a hyaluronic acid serum with apple stem cell extract for $39. La Mer sells it for $240. Okay, well, I think that their price is cheaper because they're not selling to women. It's not the pink tax. So, there's that as well.
Right. So if someone's listening to and they're thinking, I want to kind of get in the market, I've got something that I want to sell, I need to figure out exactly how to say why my product is so
Mhm.
important. Like, how would you help them understand, like, creating their value proposition that sets them apart from other brands already in the market?
I'd say go read the book $100 Million Offers by Alex Ramosi as kind of a baseline. It gives a really good framework and a lot of really good examples. It's very easy to read and it's funny and it's on audiobook. So like I just do that. It's actually the one audiobook I can't listen to at like 2x speed because there's so much information in it that like I was stopping every 2 seconds to write something down. But yeah, the
Mhm.
general idea is you have to, and this is kind of mixed with my own opinion, you have to give people an aspirational outcome, oftentimes based in some sort of status. And that status could be looking better. Look, skincare is not a hard concept, right? Your skin is better. I don't need to convince you that looking better will make you feel better or project that your life could be better. If you put on a nice shirt, same thing. It's like it's not that crazy. If you have a Ferrari, you're going to get more attention. You know, there's certain things that are a little more obvious. It depends on the product you're going to do. Now, one of my favorite commercials ever was or examples of a commercial was I think it was like a grass or fertilizer company that basically their tagline was like make your neighbor jealous. It's like
Mhm.
that's really funny. So I'm going to get your like grass seed and fertilizer because I'm going to make my neighbor jealous. It's
Mhm.
completely recontextualizing grass as a status symbol.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things is an aspirational outcome often based off of the status in whatever method or whatever way that person you're talking to. It could be something that's like male competition or female competition with each other, or health and living well, or being a nice, caring person, or saving the environment. It doesn't really matter what the status is. Then there's a part below it, which is how hard is it to get there? How much money, time, effort? So we say our tagline is 30-second skincare. It's like, well, looking good is the obvious part, and it's going to take me only 30 seconds a day. Okay, I'll actually do that. So if I said it was, it's 30-hour skincare, you're not going to do it. If I said it's
Mhm.
$30 million skincare, you're not going to do it. But 30-second skincare, okay, that's so easy. I'm going to do it. So that's a part that people often forget is make sure people understand the path to achieve that aspirational outcome and kind of trivialize it or make sure it's at least doable. And then the final part, well, there's also social proof of like likelihood of the outcome's going to happen. So you see a bunch of people happy with the product, that's pretty easy. And then there's a concept that I like to call fast wins. When people go to the gym on January 1st, they quit on January what, like 8th because there's no
Mhm.
fast wins with the gym. They made their New Year's resolution, the adrenaline fades off of this excitement. It's January 8th, it's cold, and you're like, well, I worked out for 4 days and I don't see any results. So trying to give people results quickly, even if they're small, will keep people going. For instance, this
Mhm.
product, when you put it on your face, it has a tightening sensation. That's how hyaluronic acid works. A lot of people say, oh, wow, I feel it working the first time. Well, if you feel it working the first time, you're going to use it the second time because you'll feel it working then too. And the third time, you'll feel it working. And then all of a sudden, you've used it every day for a month and you see the actual serious benefits of it. So that's
Mhm.
another thing. And it's not always easy for products to deliver that. For instance, a shirt, you put it on the first time, you look good. That's a fast win. A mattress, are you going to necessarily sleep amazing the first night? Maybe. That's a whole different kind of purchase. But so there's a lot. It's
Mhm.
basically aspirational outcome based in the status of whatever your customer wants. And you have to ask them and understand that divided by time, effort, etc. to get there, multiplied by likelihood of the outcome actually happening, which is proven through social proof. And then give them a fast win or two so they actually commit to using it because normally things have a longer term benefit if they actually use it.
Mhm. Well, and as we were talking earlier, there's a lot of costs involved in having a product, especially if you're just launching a product. And so a lot of people want to use social media just to try to get the word out.
Mhm.
So, how can entrepreneurs, whether they're just launching a brand new business or they're launching a new product, how can they leverage social media to really engage with their potential customers?
It depends because like there's a lot of different sales channels that have almost nothing to do with each other. Some of them are interrelated.
Mhm.
We run a lot of paid social media, and that works because we had some capital to spend and we are focused on that. And we have a good content generation machine internally in the company. So that leveraged our strengths. But that's hard and it's not cheap, and it was not cheap to get started on that. As
Mhm.
far as organic posting, I don't do that. It's for me, it's not my skill set. It's not my skill set to even go and look for someone like that. We're not trying to. We did that for a little while and we got followers, a bunch of them, and it just did not convert to sales. And so for
Mhm.
me, it was hyper focused on sales and not really community building. And the reason
Mhm.
for that is we have a discrete product for guys that has a visual result. I don't necessarily need there to be a community of health, wellness, skincare guys talking about it. That doesn't help. It's not
Mhm.
necessarily the kind of product where a guy will say to his friend, "Hey, you should use this." It's kind of the opposite, actually, of what we think guys will do. So for me,
Mhm.
community building and organic posting and influencer marketing was not worth all the time, effort, money, and trouble. For many other products, it's the absolute best way. For an
Mhm.
experiential product that is more community based, I have friends who run a sauce company, and even for them, they're getting into Whole Foods in Erewhon and some of these places. They want to do pop ups and local things and events and create a vibe around their brand because there's no result of tomato sauce. It's a feeling and experience of
Mhm.
party with friends where you eat spaghetti, whatever. So it really depends. For me, paid social is good. Again, the creative lift, it's a lot of work to get ads that are good out and then manage them and maintain them, and it's expensive. But it works for our
Mhm.
specific business model, especially with a high margin product and repeat customers and cheap shipping because it's a
Mhm.
relatively light. So yeah, but anyone can go buy a ring light or $60 lights at 5400 degrees Kelvin on Amazon and have two of them, one in front, one to the side. I know this because I record a lot of content, and so I'm giving a little content things. You can get a shotgun microphone. You can use Adobe Podcast, which is a new AI tool that makes audio quality great. You can use 11 Labs to clone voice. Anyone can do that and make pretty good content at this point with like $100 worth of equipment. Shotgun mic, $40, lights, $60 on Amazon. And again, set one up right here and one here, 400 degrees Kelvin. That is the same as natural light. Make sure you have the diffusers on and have a nice background, and you can record content. And if you have the message for your company, just be compelling with it. Like say it in a way that if you were watching it, you'd want to hear. And then get other
Mhm.
influencers and people who resonate to work with it. And
Mhm.
that has the upside of going viral potentially, although even if things go viral, it doesn't necessarily convert. And it's not necessarily
Right.
repeatable. And that's the thing that a lot of
Mhm.
people are chasing is like, oh, we went viral. We're there now. And it's like 6 months goes by and they don't have another video go viral. So
Mhm.
it's all grind.
Mhm.
That's what I will say. Get used to a grind if you want to start a company. It's an everyday, all day thing for years.
Right. Well, and when you were talking about the ads, and obviously, like you said, you don't want to necessarily just have someone liking a post or really
Mhm.
not engaging. And then even if you do have a lot of engagement, if it doesn't turn into sales, it really isn't helping your company. So when you're doing the paid ads too,
Mhm.
like what do you recommend for somebody to put aside for a budget if that's the direction that they want to go to really start getting in front of people? Because we know it's, going to cost to really get in front of all those eyes.
That depends on so many factors of the actual company and the product. I'll just take mine for instance, because I don't want to make up some random example. But
Mhm.
I have a high margin product that even before we were running ads, when I got friends and family to look at it and whatever, they were coming back, they were using it up. I was using it, we tested a lot with test markets and things like that and surveys. So I knew that it was less of a risk to spend some money up front. And we started with a very low
Mhm.
budget, and Facebook did not care about us. Facebook being
Mhm.
the platform for Facebook and Instagram. We ran on both and they kind of decide where it goes. I made our first ads. They did horribly because I was just making ads. I learned Adobe, like there was no structure to them that would be successful in conversion. And then I hired a guy. He helped me redo the ads. then they started working a little bit here and there, and then they were inefficient, and we built it up. I also had some capital that I've been funding it, and so I was able to decide that I wanted to put X amount in there. And so I built it up slowly until I was comfortable spending more to earn more. So, but it was risky. It could have fallen flat. Again, it was not easy. I had to film people myself, the first 10 to 15 people, which would take a day or two to write scripts, get it set up, have people come over for 8 hours, transcribe them. So yeah, it depends. If you want to work with an all-in agency, there that can take the time off your plate, but you're going to be paying for that certainly. It also depends on the budget.
Mhm.
If you're spending $1,000 a day, Facebook might care about you. If you're spending $50 a day, it might not.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it depends. These platforms completely do care if you're spending a lot or not. They have no
Right.
illusions about that. When we have scaled down our spending, like after Black Friday, we saw that they were just giving us much worse traffic. We increased the spend. They were like, okay, we
Mhm.
like you again.
Right. And if you don't have that much money, especially when someone's first starting out, then that's going to be difficult to be able to
Mhm.
really have enough to put into that because there's so many other things that you have to pay for too besides advertising. So, well, I was going to say too, do you have any like other last minute tips that maybe I didn't know to ask the question that you think would be helpful for a listener who is really wanting to be able to master the digital marketing to get their products out there and able to be
Yeah,
sold?
I would say this. The first, it's kind of two lessons that I've learned. The first is have no illusions that just because you make something that's good that you like, it's going to work. From a product to an ad. Oh my God, there were ads we showed family, friends, our network, and everyone was like, this ad's going to kill it horribly. There are ads where I'm like, this is garbage. Like, we're going to run it
Mm.
because it's like, it's not bad. It's just like, there's no way it kills it for us. It is very weird what works and what does not work. It is not
Mhm.
random, but there's an element of randomness to it. Like, obviously, if you make a terrible ad, it has a lower success rate. But, we try to do the cheaper things first. Another lesson
Mhm.
is always try to spend less. It's far easier to spend less than it is to make more. If you have a budget of $50,000 to start a company, make the products yourself if you can. Learn what an operating agreement is, and do like
Mhm.
save anything you can. I learned chemistry and formulated our products. Saved me tens of thousands of dollars in a year of time. Set our company up in a way that like it couldn't have worked if I didn't do that. And then the last thing is the answers are often out there. If I want to make a new facial cleanser, I will order 15 facial cleansers from all of our competitors and every best company out there. I will test them all. I will put in a spreadsheet what I like and don't like about them. I will look at their ingredients. You can do that. And then I will say, okay, well, I'm now 80% sure I have exactly what I think will be the best product. Then we'll go and make
Mhm.
our own version of that. Same thing with ads. You can go on Facebook and Instagram and look at the ad libraries of every single company you like their ads of. You can see how many variations they're doing. You can watch their videos. They're usually 20 to 30 seconds. Spend an hour, watch two competitors' videos. Oh, wow, all their ads are the same except for the first 3 seconds. Maybe when we make ads, we should focus on only changing the first 3 seconds to get people's attention. They have a lot of like weird stuff like fruit opening. Like a lot of our skincare competitors use like fruit imagery in the first, like an apple getting sliced, and it's like, don't have your skin be this rough, and it shows an orange
Mm.
peel. Why? Because it's
Mhm.
bright, it's interesting. It's called stop the scroll content. So you can oftentimes learn, especially of the funnel, go to your competitors' websites, or not just your competitor, any website that you like. Oh, there's have a cool animation on the first fold of page one. Okay, well, maybe you do something like that. So
Mhm.
the answers are out there. You just kind of need to look at what's working well and be able to deconstruct it and then repurpose it for your benefit. And of course, make it your own. Like, you can't just
Mhm.
copy other people because it's not going to make sense necessarily for your product. But yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure this has been informative for someone who's listening, who's thinking, I want to start a company or I want to get out there more, and so I want to use digital marketing and they weren't sure what to do. So I think probably hearing your story has helped give them a little bit more, this is kind of what you could try, to get out there and, judge your success. So thank you so much for, chatting about that today. So I want to ask, as we're coming close to the end of the time, if someone wants more information, how would they reach you?
They can always email me at jake@crete.club or just go to our website, Crete, KRETE.club, CLUB, and poke around, see our products, try them out. And email me. I answer questions about pretty much everything, unless it's something like we haven't launched yet. But people have marketing questions or product questions. I don't know, 5-10 minutes of my time could save someone from making a year-long mistake. So I mentor and help a lot of other entrepreneurs because I want cool stuff to be built, and it's the right thing to do.
Hmm. Right. I agree with you. I mean, having a mentor, that's one thing I would say too, as a tip to someone listening, is find a mentor who can help you, through that too. And then when you've had your success too, if you can be a mentor, why not share, with other people so that they can move along the path of success as well. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, to add a tiny bit, mentors can also be people from audiobooks and podcasts. They don't necessarily need to be like people you know. I've learned a ton from like audiobooks and just following people on social media.
Hmm. Well, whatever resources you can find that help, right? That's one
Yeah,
of the things
absolutely.
that's great about finding what will be for you, right? There might be different things
Mhm.
out there that aren't for you, but there will be something that can be for you too. So, well, thank you so much for being a guest on the show and sharing your experience and getting into the market, how you were able to do that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for the listener for tuning in. I hope you found this discussion interesting and that you enjoyed the topic, mastering digital marketing for business success. If you have any additional questions or comments, be sure to reach out to Jake at the links that he shared or send us a message at media@abandp.com. I hope you can join me for my next interview. And remember, you can connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And my website is abandp.com. You could find my show, Biz Help for You, posted on several favorite podcast platforms, including iTunes, Google, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And would you please share our show with those you know and leave a review on your favorite platform? I'd really appreciate your support. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.